Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I have the Lawn Fawn Tea-rrific Day and the add-on stamp set. I also have Spellbinders Large Die of the Month 2023 Flowering Tree and Collapsible card base, and I'm also using the Small Die of the Month from December 22 for the banner die, just for my sentiment. So I have started off, I have some navy cardstock here, and I've cut the tree out of a different sort of colour, like a beigey kind of colour. And then for the main card or collapsible card, there are these two pieces that are your side panels, and it's all scored and like perforated so that you just fold on the dotted lines and it creates the folds. And these are going to sit behind the main back panel. I did think about putting them in the front, but then you will see that. So I put them at the back, and you can always cut another one of the main back panels and add that at the back in maybe a white or something, so that you've got somewhere to write a message to someone, especially if this is a darker cardstock. So I'm basically going to put the tape on the inside of that fold and then add each one to the back base piece, so the main part of the card. Hope this makes some sense as we go. So we're just going to stick those, line them up and stick them on the on this base piece. Now this was the first time I was doing this. I always do this with you guys, so I was trying to find the best way to actually get these on there. I've turned it over and trying to line it up from the back. I just want to make sure that before I press down on the adhesive, that it's in the right sort of place so it folds nicely. And then these are the panels that are going to create your steps for this. So what there is there's one die that does the big one at the back, and then on that die there's two score lines. So what you do is you cut it out 3 times and then cut off one of the score lines, and that creates the next level down. And then on your third piece you would cut both those score lines off, so you've essentially made like a stepped what would you call it, like a stepped thing for them to sit on. So this first layer is the die will cut out this whole piece that I'm now sticking in. And then you'll see then each one will get slightly shorter as you cut off each score line on that main piece that I'm sticking in there now. I hope that made some sense. Spellbinders obviously explains this a lot better on their video. They're like introduction video, but hopefully this will make sense in a minute. So you can just about see the score lines on that panel that I've stuck in there now. You can kind of see the score lines. So all you're doing is cutting each score line off to create the next step down, so that you get these layers that you can add your little characters to, or the tree. In the die set you do get let me just check, you get a happy birthday die that actually layers up on those different step levels. So it's very cute. So, and each one just literally slots in like this, and it will create the little layers. So I'm just referencing the guide that you get with the dies, because I wasn't sure whether it had to go, that the front one had to go right on the edge of the side panel, or whether it sort of sat kind of on top of the one behind it. And it does sort of sit behind it slightly, on top of it, so that you've got this extra nice curved edge on the front, which is much nicer. It looks really nice and neat. So now we're going to stick the other one on. That didn't make sense. The other side panel on. Sort of the same way we did before, but I'm kind of lining it up while it's sort of in situ, and then pressing it down. And then to get those to stick together, and I have bits of fluff on there, I'm going to turn each one over and line them up on the bottom so they're nice and level. and then I'm just going to take off the tape. So this is kind of like a lot of the 3D projects I've done before, like with the Lawn Fawn boxes and things like that, or shadow boxes, that kind of stuff. And then you just bring the right hand panel over and it sticks the whole lot together. Now I always found with these that one way will fold flat better than another way, so that's just how it works for me, but in theory it should be able to fold flat either way, as I sort of showed you there. So now I'm going to speed through quite a lot of this because this took me an age. It takes quite a long time to get all the tree and the leaves. There's two different types of leaf, and there's three different sizes. Three different sizes. There's three flowers, sorry, and three different types of flowers, if that makes sense. So that sort of made sense, I think. So there's a lot of sticking and gluing and lots of pieces, but when it's all put together, it really does look cool. So I won't sit through all of this. I will do most of it off camera, but just to give you an idea of how this kind of goes together. Also found that there was a right and a wrong way for the leaves. So a couple of mine are actually upside down, but it's okay. I didn't look at it close enough when I was doing this. I just kind of thought, oh yeah, leaf, and pop it on. But there is actually like a top and a bottom to the leaf, just so you know. And then the flowers are not symmetrical, so they go in a specific way. The yellow ones that I did were fine. They just stuck straight down, but the other two didn't. And then what I have already done is use the Tea-rrific Day and the add-on, some stamps from that. And I did this off camera because it takes me so long to colour things in these days, that I used some Copic markers to colour in the stamped images. And then I just cut them out with my brother's scan and cut. And now is the fun bit, trying to work out where you want to put everything to make your little tea party scene. This stamp set and the add-on, I actually straight away, as soon as I saw it, and maybe this was the idea behind it, I don't know, but I straight away thought Mad Hatter's Tea Party, Alice in Wonderland, just gonna say it. And I love it. It's like one of my favourite stories, and so that's what I thought when I saw the stamp set, so I had to have it, of course. But I've also made little cups up for all the characters I decided I wanted to use on there. I've already stamped and die cut. You can see the sentiment off to the side there, using the banner from the Stitched Heart card front, which is the Spellbinders small die of the month, December 22. And for the tree now, I decided to cut there was like a little lip that was on it, which is part of what is where you kind of line up to stick it to the first, I don't know like the first layer at the back. So it doesn't go on the back piece necessarily. But because I wanted to use those all three of those layers, or levels for the stamped images, I decided to pop the tree up on some thin foam in the back, and then also cut the bottom, I suppose like the little piece that you would use to actually adhere it to one of those layers, if that made any sense. Just so that I didn't have to, if you were looking at it from the side, it wouldn't have this weird little knobbly bit at the bottom. It just made it look like the tree was just there. What I could have done in hindsight is actually created a little border of grass or something to go in front of the tree as well, just to add to that, whole thing that I had going on here. So what I will say for this is I'm using some super strong tape, which is great. If you use wet adhesive, just be aware of where you're putting the adhesive, because you don't want to stick the card together. And also because my fox is he's got a big old tail, I just kind of folded and I actually did this throughout the thing, just kept folding it flat so that I could make sure that everything was going to line up and sit properly within the whole structure, because I didn't want like his tail, say, to get bent or mucked up because I've folded it or stuck him in not quite the right place, if that makes sense. So I just carefully did that before I really stuck those things down, and then getting my little hedgehog on and my little mouse in the bottom here. He's so cute. And then the sentiment banner, I decided to again put up on some foam, just thin foam adhesive, same foam I used for the tree in the background, and just popping that up, I just thought it added another little thing, little bit of, you know, dimension. I can't think of the word. And also I lined it up as far to the right as I could so that it all kind of made sense. So I also had this little bird, and I do put him in the tree, and I thought that looked cute, but I decided that there was too much space in the front of the little tea party sesh. So I took him off the tree and I added him to the front here, and I actually think that looks better. As much as I try and make and stamp and colour enough images for a project, sometimes you just need more. So in hindsight, I could have used more. But what I also did for the tree, just to draw attention to it, is I added some pearls to the pink flowers and some like diamante things to the purple ones, just to draw attention to it a bit more. And then look, how flat does that go? It's so cool. And I think it probably will fit in like a standard envelope, but if need be, I'm not worried. I'll just stick it in a normal size, a bigger one. But how cool is that? So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I hope this was fun, having a look at this and what else you can do with it, not just what's in the kit. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye for now.